One of the hardest things to do in life is to be able to look yourself in the mirror and understand when it's time to walk away. This doesn't just mean away from, toxic relationships or people that you may be dealing with, but that could mean environments. That could mean in times where you may be in some sort of confrontation that ultimately just saves your life in the long run and saves you so much time. And I feel like what so many people don't understand is that we allow our hearts to be fully exposed. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable when we love somebody, when we care about somebody, not truly understanding that simply because we did that gesture based on love, that person is expected to change because that's not always the case. And what it leads to is constant letdowns. You may be there for somebody, you may provide for someone, you may love them, you may literally do everything that you would want to do for them in the entire world. And this doesn't guarantee anything from somebody. And the reason behind that is because there is not one person on this planet that owes you anything. So the sooner that you get that through your head, the easier it'll be for you to learn this concept of detachment, learning that what's for you is only for you at that very moment. Nothing that you see is forever. Nothing that we cling on to, the things that we cherish, our cars, our phones, our homes, none of these things are forever. Learning the concept of detachment in general will allow you to find peace with letting go, will allow you to be able to fully live in that moment because you understand how temporary everything is. And this is something that took me so long to learn because what we often do as humans is we mark our territory. Let's just call it that. We may have kids, start families with people, be with them long periods at a time, and somehow everything shifts from this person is temporary and we're just having fun to this person is probably going to be here forever. I want this person to be somebody that's in my life until I'm no longer here. And that just happens when you grow together, when you build and you learn to love somebody, but it still doesn't guarantee anything. It just means that all of the walls that you had up previously are now lowered, and that person's able to see you for who you truly are, the human being that you are. But at some point when it all fades away, when all the glamour and everything wears off, you're going to have to learn how to walk away. And if you haven't mastered this yet, then you need to get on it ASAP, because if not, it's going to be the one thing that completely tears you down in the long run. Being able to completely remove yourself, being able to love somebody, understanding that just because I love them doesn't mean that I need to possess them or have access to them. Understanding that you can show your love from afar. If you may have been in a relationship with somebody and it simply didn't work out, ask yourself, how much do I truly love this person? Because if I did, and I knew that we had so many conflicts and things were never working between us, do I love them enough to allow them to walk away and potentially be happy with somebody else? Because that's what true love is. A lot of people aren't even genuinely in love. They just want to control the dynamic of something. They just want to have the impact, have access to people. And what this does is it ends up damaging their character in the long run because they get confused. They feel like access means love. If this person's constantly receptive, then this has to mean that we're meant to be in each other's lives right now. But that's just not the case. You'll never really know how many people lack that sense of emotional intelligence until you put yourself out there to experience different versions of people, to have loved somebody from a place of control and then releasing it and experiencing a completely different version of what you believe love is. You got to understand that walking away is always going to be painful, because when there's a cycle of something, when there's patterns and habits and everything that you guys may have been doing for years at a time, it is not going to take one conversation to break that. It's just not. The only thing that can break patterns and habits that's been established between people is one, if they're both on the same page and they're willing to work through it, which normally is not the case, or you probably wouldn't be breaking up anyways if you can communicate that good. But the only thing is your silence. The only thing is you being to completely let go of control, let go of having access to that person and pondering on the thoughts of the outcome. And I was somebody who didn't necessarily understand how much the little things was impacting my ability to fully let go and move on. Because I used to be checking the socials. I used to be wanting to drive by her house. I used to be wanting to call from, my mom's phone or whatever. And then, I realized that things that I felt like were harmless were doing way more harm to me in the long run, because it was just resetting that exact loop or that pattern that we tried so hard to break free from. You have to break free from the pattern. Anything that you've been doing up until this point that's been regular or may even seem harmless is not harmless. It's what's keeping you emotionally attached to that person. It's the one thing that's keeping you from being able to fully move on and process your emotions to the point where even if you did want to rekindle things in the future, it would be possible. But you have to learn how to let go now. You have to allow that person to experience or witness a different version of you in the future, even if that is the case. And if it isn't, then letting go for yourself is always worth it in the long run. You have to start choosing you for once. And I feel like so many people understand that letting go is scary because it just creates that space. You're not going to be able to create your future living in the past or looking back and reflecting on things that no longer serve you a purpose, including people. And so many people, and I used to be this type of person, may feel like they're weak if they choose to walk away. But you got to understand that we all have a breaking point. If your body, if your soul, if your mind is telling you you have no more to give, you have no more effort and energy to pour into a certain person, then you need to listen, because it's just going to pull and take away from your overall peace. Do not allow comfort, do not allow yourself having access to this person to get in the way of your overall current state of mind because you just want to feel something. Take that pain, take that grieving that you need to do and apply it to your life. Use it as motivation to become a better version of yourself. And one thing that took me so long to learn is the fact that sometimes you will not get closure. Closure is the one thing that so many people usually seek after a breakup, because it can flip the switch. It can almost make anyone go from grieving to, okay, I'm over it. Once they feel like they've gotten what they needed out of the entire situation, whether that was a phone call, whether that was them speaking face to face and accepting things for what they are, not everyone gets closure. And you shouldn't even be somebody that needs that in order to move on. You have to give yourself the closure, because not everybody is going to be in that headspace, or at least emotionally mature enough to cater to you needing closure. And that's okay. People are naturally going to choose themselves. So if they're doing good, odds of them running back and trying to help you, giving you closure, are slim to none. It's going to be hard, but you have to pour into yourself at moments like this. You have to be the source. Pray, do what you need to do in order to make yourself feel better, but you cannot reach back out and try to seek anything from this person that obviously is not choosing you at this very moment. And even if they are choosing you and you are the one that walked away, it's still time for you to start choosing yourself. It's time for you to put yourself first for once, because you are the priority. But you just got to know when to walk away. You got to know when it's time to stop pouring into people. You got to know when it's time to stop allowing people to use you or take advantage of you, or even just not meet you where you need to be met, mentally, physically, whatever it may be. I used to feel like I was wrong from walking away from good-hearted people, people that I knew were genuinely great people. But being a good person does not make somebody compatible with you. And it's okay to walk away from good people. If somebody doesn't align with what you need, whether it's spiritually, whether it's mentally, if they don't challenge you or help you expand the way that you think, these are all things that you have to take into account, because it's not a requirement for everybody. But for somebody like me, I like a woman who motivates me. I like somebody who pushes me to be the best version of myself. Does that mean that I'm going to 100% rely on my woman being that source? No, it's just an add-on. I have to have that within myself. But I cannot be with somebody who doesn't have that depth. I cannot be with somebody who isn't meeting me halfway, because that's just the type of person that I am. And you have to understand the type of person that you are and what you require. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue Jay Tate. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.